Hello and welcome to Better Body Movement. We are here to help you move more functionally all day long. What that means is we need to fix the two actions that your muscles actually have. One is to contract and the other is to relax. So we have a program established to where all week long we will work through self-massage so you can begin to change those tight muscles and begin to relax or lengthen that tissue while simultaneously following through with a contraction sequence or creating exercise or movement that is dedicated to help you move well. And today's workout is going to be our leg day. So what you can expect is 4 rounds of 8 exercises. Each exercise will last about 45 seconds. You'll have 15 seconds to transition and then we will start back in. We do have instructions before each round, simple things for you to focus on or ways to make it more challenging or just change up those rounds. We ask that you just simply do your best. To best help your hips, you must understand the deep muscles under the glutes that hold your hip socket in place. The piriformis connects to the anterior sacrum and sacral ligament to the greater trochanter of the femur. The obturator externus connects from the obturator foramen to the trochanteric fossa of the femur. The remaining deep muscles are the gemellus superior, obturator internus, gemellus inferior, and quadratus femoris. We're going to begin with a stretch of the piriformis. Start seated in a chair and place one foot on top of the opposite knee. To create the stretch, pull the hips forward as if pushing your belly button through the hole between your legs. In this stretch, press your foot down into the knee for 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Relax and pick up the slack for about 10 seconds. 8, 7. Again, you're relaxing the belly button through the knees. 4, 2, 1. Press the foot into the leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pick up the slack, relaxing forward. 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. Repeat this process for a total of 10 contractions. Now, in the same figure 4 position, use a lacrosse ball to increase the intensity. Place it right at the head of the femur where the piriformis inserts. You may have to roll around a little bit to find the tender spot. Once you find it, repeat the 5-second contract and 10-second relax sequence for a total of 10 repetitions. Next, we're going to work the glute maximus. The glute muscle starts at the posterior sacrum, ilium, and posterior gluteal line of the ilium, all the way down the gluteal tuberosity of the femur, iliotibial tract attaching to the lateral condyle of the tibia. When the glutes are not working correctly, the attachments at the knee take the brunt of the pain. We're going to begin the work on the glutes by simply sitting on the foam roller and rolling back and forth. If you feel like you're not getting enough pressure, you can lean to one side, either with your arm on the ground or your arm on the foam roller. Remember to work the glutes with different leg positions. You can roll them in or let them drop out while you continue to roll back and forth over that tissue, looking for the most tender and sore spots. When you find one, sit and hold. After some deep breaths, move on. Continue to find the most tender spots on the left and right sides. If it feels like you didn't get enough pressure, move on to the lacrosse ball. Place the lacrosse ball under the glute muscle. Side note, to take some pressure off the wrists, simply use your foam roller as an armrest under your elbows. Begin rolling the ball around the glute muscle till you find a tender spot. Pause and breathe. Remember to take deep breaths through the diaphragm. Each time you breathe out, relax more into the lacrosse ball. Next, we're going to focus on the glute medius, minimus, and the tensor fascia lata. The glute medius connects from the iliac crest of the ilium between the posterior and anterior gluteal lines out to the greater trochanter of the femur. Beneath the gluteus medius is the gluteus minimus. This muscle begins from the ilium between the anterior and inferior gluteal lines to the anterior surface of the greater trochanter of the femur. These two muscles work together to steady the pelvis during ipsilateral training, or standing on one leg. The tensor fasciae latae begins from the iliac crest posterior to anterior superior iliac spine, all the way down to the iliotibial tract, which you can see is the lateral condyle of the tibia. Much like the glute max, when these muscles are not firing, the pressure goes directly into your knees. Laying on your back with a straight leg and your opposite knee bent, place the lacrosse ball next to your hip. Do not lift the hips to place the ball, simply relax on the floor, place the ball beside your hip. Now, roll over onto the ball. You may have to move the ball around a little bit to find the right spots, but ultimately you are looking for the pain to settle into the lacrosse ball. You may begin by rolling the knee in and out or pressing down into the floor and lifting the leg just a tiny bit. This position is uncomfortable. Stay here until you feel those muscles relax and you can allow your pressure to lay on the lacrosse ball. The upper part of the leg is made up of 4 different muscles known as the quadricep. The quadricep is made up of the rectus femoris, being the most superficial muscle. The vastus medialis runs on the inside, the vastus lateralis runs on the outside, and the vastus intermedius runs deep directly under the rectus femoris. The 3 deepest muscles connect on the femur and just above the knee, whereas the rectus femoris passes from the ilium all the way over the kneecap into the tibia, passing 2 joints. Using a foam roller, work the front of the quad and into the side of the TFL band with the toe and knee against the wall. Start rolling the foam roller down the quad with your hands. If you feel a tender or tight spot, hold in that position and quickly press the roller back and forth over the tight spot. Gradually work your way down the entire front of the leg toward the knee. Continue to change positions, working through the front of the quad. When you feel a tender spot, maintain pressure and quickly jostle the massage stick up and down. Then transition to the side of the leg. With the foot against the wall, press the roller in the same manner, pushing it down the side of the leg. Try to relax the leg while the foam roller works into the muscle tissue. I find this to be the best release for my IT bands. Another way to work the quadriceps and the IT band is using the massage stick. Allowing the leg to relax, start with firm pressure just above the kneecap, dragging the pressure all the way up towards the hip. Change the position slightly and continue to pull up the quad. When you feel a tender spot that feels like a knot, you're going to apply pressure and shake it back and forth. Notice the rollers are not actually moving. The pressure just stays in one spot. When you finish about 30 pulses, continue the pull up the leg. If you find there's too much tension in the quad, straighten the knee and allow the leg to fully relax. This can help you get deeper into the tissue. Again, each time you find a tender spot, continue to relax into it. Create quick movements through the tender spots and finish with a pull up towards the hip. A more intense way to work the quads is laying in a plank position using a foam roller. In this position, you can roll up and down the quads looking for the most tender part. Once you find a tender part, bend the knees and then relax down slowly. Then flex into the foam roller by straightening your knees tight. After you complete 7 to 10 repetitions there, Draw circles with the feet, both clockwise and counterclockwise. Relax and breathe, adjusting as necessary, making sure you relax the quad. The final and most intense work we're going to do is with the lacrosse ball. Laying on your stomach, use a book under the lacrosse ball. Place the lacrosse ball directly on the quadricep. You may have to move the ball around to find a few different spots that are tender. When you find the most tender ones, bend the knee, allowing the muscle to stretch, and then straighten the knee, contracting the muscle over top of the lacrosse ball. Continue this for 7 to 10 repetitions. When you find a spot that needs extra attention, get yourself a little more comfortable, allowing your head to rest. Change positions by rotating the leg in or out based on the type of work that you need. To work more medially, simply roll your body over, exposing more of the inside of the leg.
These are the tools that you'll need if you're following the basic, intermediate, or advanced types of workouts. And if you don't have any of those tools, just do your best as we go through it, okay? So we're gonna start with small arm circles. The point of these circles is to move your shoulders, okay? So the shoulders even should be going up to the ears, forward, down, back, with your arms out to the side. So it's like the circle of your hand stems from your shoulders, okay? Carol, that's okay. That's why we have a warm-up and then 1, 2, 3 rounds. Get moving quicker and quicker as we go. Okay, now big circles. Make sure, again, those shoulders are going through the full range of motion. Okay, internal, external rotations. Again, move your shoulder blades. Pinch back and then roll forward. Pinch your shoulders back and roll forward. Okay, so if you're just swinging your arms and it's just moving at the shoulder joint, that's not everything I want. I want all the way back. Pinch way back. Lift that chest high to the ceiling and then roll forward. Chest high and then roll forward. Okay, getting those legs moving. Nice and tall through our leg swings. Okay, and again, if you have spondylolisthesis, spondylitis, narrowing basically of your spinal canal, creating a grinding motion back and forth is going to be rough. So keep that core tight and hold those hips in place if you happen to have some of those problems with the low back. Okay, otherwise, just nice and easy. Get that hip joint moving. Your best through it. Good stretch through here. So knee straight on that back leg and then tuck your butt. Really drive underneath. That's where we're going to get that hip flexor to stretch. Good tight squeezes. Awesome. Okay, remember, as we get set for our first round, that's like a continuation of our warm-ups if you feel like things just are not connected yet, okay? So you don't have to be moving super fast.
Get ready to squat.
Okay, but go ahead and get set up for those squats. Most important thing on your squat is to be ripping the floor apart, okay? So driving your feet away from each other.
3, 2, 1, squat.
However, as you drive those feet apart, make sure you're not rolling your big toe up off the floor, right? We want to be pushing that big toe down into the floor and rip the floor apart basically with the insides of your feet, not just the outsides. Okay, so keep those feet nice and flat on the floor.
Halfway.
Rip, rip, rip. Then again, we want to be checking that core and shoulders. Make sure we're tight through the core, shoulders are set in place. It's a lot to just get the brain involved and active through the movement. So
3, 2, 1. Transition to single leg step down.
remember that is the reason we do this.
3, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
Use that first round as a continuation of connecting the brain to the muscle tissue, right? So don't just create movement, right? Create quality movement. So we're thinking butt, belly, bra strap. Tight, 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 all the way through.
That's halfway.
Good, tight squeeze. Press through.
2, 1. Switch sides. Three, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
Good single leg work. So no matter what you're doing, whether it's a lunge, a single leg sit, or the RDL, like the advanced, right? You're squeezing through your butt. Come up nice and tall. Squeeze tight.
That's halfway.
Firm compression. Doing your best. Tall and tight, tall
3,
and tight.
2, 1. Transition to good morning.
Awesome. All right, good mornings. This is a horizontal movement of the hips. So remember, if you need to, stand in front of something, like your TV,
3,
push your butt backwards, hit the TV,
1.
stand up tall,
Good morning.
right? Because we're thinking the hips should be traveling backwards. We're not thinking head or chest reaching to the floor, right? The head and chest should be actually away from the floor as much as you possibly can, right? Use your shoulders to keep your head and chest back.
That's halfway.
Okay, do not droop down. We don't want any more drooping than there is already. Okay, good firm squeezes.
3, 2, 1. Transition to monster walk.
Okay, monster walks. So band around the knees. Remember 3/4 sit.
2, 1. Monster walk.
Make sure you keep those hips engaged. You're thinking about pinching that penny between the cheeks. Yes, Carol, it is still impossible, but we're going to think about it anyway. Okay, pinch, pinch, pinch. The whole point is that you're putting pressure into the floor, right? It's not a static or passive movement. We're actively pushing down. Contract those glutes.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO left. 3, 2, 1. VMO left.
All right, for those VMOs, remember you're straightening the knee all the way. Pull the toe towards the knee, and then lock out by pushing that heel away. Okay, so really straight, really straight. Nice tight squeeze.
That's halfway.
Okay, keep working through it. Nice tight squeeze, good control.
3,
And doing
2,
your best.
1. Transition to VMO right.
Okay, other leg, so just switch to the other side. Again, we're trying to focus on straightening the knee.
3, 2, 1. VMO right.
Okay, so once you think your knee is straight, I want you to squeeze even harder to straighten it more. Tight, okay? It should be a brain process. You're connecting the brain to that muscle tissue to make it work harder. Tight squeeze and then lock
That's
it.
halfway.
Okay, tight squeeze, lock. Get it in place and then squeeze harder. Okay, straight knee, then squeeze harder.
3, 2, 1. Transition to hamstring curl.
Remember to sit tall and pull those heels hard into that foam roller. Make that thing explode.
3, 2, 1. Hamstring.
Good hamstring curl. So bend those knees, pull the heels hard. Drive, 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 drive. All the while, try to sit tall. Core is tight, shoulders down and back.
That's halfway. Three, 2, 1. Long rest.
All right, very, very good work, everyone. So remember, as we continue on through this process, make sure that you're thinking about how to create your movements. So butt, belly, bra strap, right? So penny between the butt cheeks, belly like someone's about to smash into your stomach, and then shoulders down and back out of those ears. Carol, if you have any questions, let me know. Let's continue this process of getting your brain connected to your body.
Three, 2, 1. Get ready to squat. Three, 2, 1. Squat.
Right, before you move, rip the floor apart. Squeeze your butt cheeks. Okay, then we sit down, and as you stand up, you're pinching that penny. So imagine a penny on the chair behind you. You grab the penny when you sit down and stand up and pinch it flat.
That's halfway.
And if that's not enough for you, think it's in there sideways and you're going to bend it in half. Yeah, Marcia. That's a fun visual, isn't it? Okay, good tight squeeze.
3, 2, 1. Transition to single leg step down.
Okay, so even though we go to a single leg, make sure that knee is not buckling inwards. You keep that knee out over the foot. Okay, Right? You're
3,
thinking sit down
2,
into a chair and
1.
then stand up.
Single leg
Press
step
through
down.
that leg. Okay? If you're doing RDLs, keep that body nice and flat. You don't want to be lifting your hip up in the air. Okay? Because you're basically just hinging on a single leg. Right? Yeah, drive up tall, tuck your butt cheeks.
That's halfway.
Almost like our pelvic tilt there. Core should be tight and glutes should be tight. This is the idea of that bridge, right? When we go from bent hip to straight hips in that core on core day, it's the same idea. Core is tight.
3, 2, 1. Switch sides.
Awesome.
Three,
And remember, core
2,
compressed, shoulders down,
1.
back.
Single leg step down.
Compress tight, squeeze up tall.
That's halfway.
Up tall, press firm. Squeeze tight, tight, tight.
Three, 2, 1. Transition to good morning.
Okay, here we go. Good mornings. Again, hips backwards behind you. Stand up tall.
3, 2, 1. Good morning.
Okay, or you can imagine that band around your waist, pulling your hips behind you, and then stand up and press forward. Drive those hips. Okay, you're thinking leaning those hips back as far as you can towards the wall, and then drive
That's
up tall,
halfway.
pinching your butt cheeks tight together.
Three, 2, 1. Transition to monster walk.
Into the monster walks again. Band at the ankles is more difficult than band at the knees.
3, 2, 1. Monster walk.
Okay. I want you to think you're pressing off that back foot. Okay, push yourself forward, right? And if you're stepping backwards, you're doing the same thing, but you're thinking drive your heel back behind you, then load the weight. Drive your
That's
foot
halfway.
and step through. And the more time you spend on one foot, right, the more difficult it's going to be. And it's when both feet are on the ground that we're not getting a lot of the hip work typically.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO left. Three, 2, 1. VMO left.
Good, tight squeeze. Firm compression. Again, knee to toes to the knee, straighten that
halfway.
knee all the way, and then push the heel. Right? You're thinking lengthen that leg as far as you can. Firm compression.
Three, 2, 1. Transition to VMO right. Three, 2, 1. VMO right.
Good. Tight squeeze, okay? Make sure you're getting that leg locked. Be tight. Compress, compress, compress. Firm squeeze.
That's halfway.
Your best.
Three,
Squeeze tight,
two,
tight, tight. Hamstring
one.
curls are next.
Transition to hamstring curl.
Okay, as you sit, be tall. If you're on the floor, make sure you're straightening that back just like core day in the bridge. Right? Core tight,
3,
cheeks
2,
tucked.
1. Hamstring.
And bend those knees. Right? Drive the heels behind you. Drive them in. You're thinking just like a recliner. If you're going to pop that footstool down, make sure you pull through those knees. Okay? Sit tall.
That's halfway.
Hard to put a recliner down if we're leaning backwards. Okay, almost there. Finish nice and strong.
Three, 2, 1. Long rest.
Awesome. Okay, long rest. So again, this is a time where you get to go and enjoy some water, take a little bit of a break. Make sure you begin that process, though, of thinking about each of those movement patterns. Maybe there's one that you really struggle with. If you happen to have any questions, just shoot them down below so that way I can help you out as we go. Remember, the primary important things that we need as far as quality movement is to be able to squeeze the butt cheeks nice and tight, hold and brace your spine by compressing your core, and then keeping those shoulder blades down and back into a nice, tall posture,
3,
okay?
2,
So ask questions
1.
as we go.
Get ready to squat.
All right, our squats, remember to rip the floor apart. You want your feet flat on the floor.
3, 2, 1. Squat.
Squeeze nice and tight as you stand up, butt cheeks compressing together like you're pinching a penny flat. Or folding it in half. Either one. Actually, whichever one makes you work hard. That's what you want to be thinking. Okay, tight squeeze. Right? Or if you really want to get after it, maybe just think there's a nice big diamond between your butt cheeks and you're trying to break that thing down. Right? Crushing diamonds.
3, 2,
Good.
1. Transition to single leg step down.
Okay, single leg step downs, RDLs, whichever one, or you can do lunges.
3, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
So if you happen to do lunges, the whole thing with lunging is to keep your shoulders over your hips. Try not to lean way forward, put all the pressure on one leg. Okay? Use the muscle tissue. We're trying to build
That's
strength
halfway.
through these movements. The only way to build strength is to challenge it with resistance or repetition, or both. Good tight squeeze.
3, 2, 1. Switch sides.
Right, other leg. Or if you're doing lunges, remember you can just stay stationary. Right,
3,
1 foot
2,
forward, 1 foot back.
1. Single leg step down.
Stay nice and tall.
That's halfway.
Good compression through the core. Still hold and brace that spine. Keeping it tight
3,
through the
2,
movement.
1. Transition to good morning.
Good mornings.
3, 2, 1. Good morning.
Core compress, shoulders down and back behind you as much as possible. Squeeze tight. Firm, firm, firm.
That's halfway.
Good compression.
3,
Awesome.
2, 1. Transition to monster walk.
Okay, so your monster walks, band around the ankles. Remember to stay tall through the spine. Core compress, shoulders down and back.
3, 2, 1. Monster walk.
Then you're actively pushing into the floor. You're not passively sitting down. Okay, actively hold yourself up. Okay, or think like your butt is hovering away from the floor. Okay, we're not sitting down towards
That's
the floor.
halfway.
We're actively hovering and pinching the butt cheeks together. Okay, create a nice tension through those glutes.
Three, 2, 1. Transition to VMO left.
VMOs. Straight leg. Remember, once you get your leg straight, lock it harder, then you can bend the knee.
3, 2, 1. VMO left.
Good tight squeeze. Firm core compression. Stay tall all the way up. Firm, firm squeeze.
That's halfway.
Good compression. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
3, 2,
Awesome.
1. Transition to VMO right. Three, 2, 1. VMO right.
VMO on the other side. Remember, straight knee, lock nice and tight. Squeeze the toes to the knees, push the heel away. Lock out, just as much as you possibly can.
That's halfway.
Okay, tall and tight.
3, 2, 1. Transition to hamstring curl.
Okay, hamstring curls. Remember, bend those knees, pull those heels nice and hard. Do your absolute best all the way through.
3, 2, 1. Hamstring.
Okay, bend those knees, pull hard. Okay, so if we're pulling through those heels, it's almost like you're trying to pull yourself out of the chair you're sitting in. Okay, if you're sitting in the chair. Otherwise, just like Jacob's doing in the advanced
That's
version,
halfway.
bending those knees enough to pull himself down the floor, right? It's that pull down, drive, right? Pull through those heels. Okay, nice and tall, almost there.
3, 2, 1. Long rest.
All right, very good. Long rest, so go ahead and get that drink. We'll come back for round 4. Just remember, we want to continue to make this as challenging as possible. So that means connecting your brain even more to the muscle tissue. That means if you're thinking you're squeezing hard enough, you're not. Squeeze harder, okay? That's how we want to make sure we get through this final round. Okay, your best is all I ask for.
Three, two, one. Get ready to squat. Three, two, one. Squat.
Rip that floor
That's
apart.
halfway.
Compress that core like you're getting whacked in the belly. Shoulder blades down and back. Right? We're always working on quality posture through whatever movement we generate. That's an all-day thing.
3, 2, 1. Transition to single leg step down.
Right? Every time we sit down, stand up, push or pull, we're trying to think, how do I do those things throughout the day, maintaining
3,
core
2,
compression?
1. Single leg step down.
Right? When I look in a mirror, do I look tall? Right? What would it take for me to look tall in a mirror? I guess maybe in Carol and Marcia's case, it's a miracle, but for the height that we have, how do we look tall, right? By keeping those shoulders down and back and the head above the shoulders. Good, Carol, we need it. I love it. You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls.
3, 2, 1. Switch sides.
All right, here we go. Switch to the other side. Again, working hard through the movement. Challenge yourself. Maybe it's depth.
3, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
You can also do declines, right? Where maybe there's a chair behind you on these single legs and you just go down slow to the chair until you sit, then use both legs to stand up. Use one leg to sit down. Slow down. Use both legs to stand up. So there's a lot of variations that you can add to these to make it more challenging, okay? Because challenge is where we get the change. If it seems like a very small amount of challenge today, you're not going to get a whole lot of change, right? The two are equals. Your challenge is going to equal the change. Your change will equal how much challenge you put into this.
3, 2, 1. Transition to good morning.
All right, good mornings. It's a good morning. 4 good mornings.
3, 2, 1. Good morning.
Okay, again, stay tall. Think belly button continues to move. Belly button. Yeah. Don't want our face to touch. Don't want your face to touch. Don't want to touch. Don't want to touch.
That's halfway.
Yeah, it's a little different, isn't it? It's just a bit different. Hold those shoulders. Pinch them back. Get belly wet. There it is. Tight. Tight squeeze through it.
2, 1. Transition to monster walk.
Awesome. Monster walks. A band at the ankles is more difficult. If your knees happen to be, if you're knock-kneed, you want the band at your knees. Okay?
3, 2, 1. Monster walk.
Because a big part of this is trying to keep the knee almost over the foot or outside the toes. Okay? We want to be pushing those knees outward just a bit, right? Not crazy, like cowboy style. But we do want the knee to stay over the toe. We just don't want it to drop cave inward. Okay, stay tall, stay tall. Morning. Again, recompress that core. Right, squeeze, shoulders down and back.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO left.
Okay, here we go. Seated VMOs. Remember it with the VMOs, tight knee.
3, 2, 1. VMO left.
Lock that knee and then squeeze it harder, right? So get the knee straight, then squeeze. Knee straight, squeeze. Nice and tight. Firm compression all the way through.
That's
Staying
halfway.
tall through your spine, shoulders down and back, core compress.
Three, 2, 1. Transition to VMO right.
Okay, VMO other side, straight knee.
3, 2, 1. VMO right.
Good, tight squeeze, compress, tight, tight, tight.
That's halfway.
Firm compression, stay tall, shoulders down back, lock that knee, lock that knee.
3, 2, 1. Transition to hamstring curl.
Last one of the day, stay nice and tall, squeeze through those knees.
3, 2, 1. Hamstring.
Okay, sit tall and forward. Try to keep your back off the chair if you're sitting in a chair. Otherwise, compress that core, pull through those knees. Heels hard, 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 hard.
That's halfway. Three, 2, 1.
Good
Long
work.
rest.
Everybody talked to everybody got along with everybody. There was one of